The phone call came on a Thursday evening while I was reviewing property reports in my home office. Victoria, we've decided to celebrate our 30th anniversary at a private island resort, Mom said without preamble. Your sister is coming along with some cousins and close family friends. We thought it would be better if you stayed home this time. I set down my pen. Why is that? Well, you know how these things are. Chelsea has been working so hard on her career and she needs this break. You being there might make things awkward. Awkward how? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Victoria, please don't make this difficult, Mom sighed. We just want a peaceful celebration without any tension. You and Chelsea have such different lifestyles and we don't want constant comparisons. Translation. Chelsea was the successful daughter with the corporate job and the doctor husband. I was the disappointment who dropped out of law school and never found her direction. Where's the island? I asked, keeping my voice neutral. It's called Serenity Island. In the Caribbean. Marcus found it, you know, Chelsea's husband. He has connections everywhere. It's supposed to be incredibly exclusive. Serenity Island. My heart started beating faster. Sounds lovely, I said calmly. When are you going? Next month. 3 days, all-inclusive. Marcus is handling the booking. Mom's voice brightened with enthusiasm. There are only 6 villas on the entire island. Can you imagine? Complete privacy, pristine beaches, a private chef. It's going to be perfect. I'm sure it will be, I said. Enjoy your trip, Mom. You're not upset? He sounded suspicious. Not at all, I said honestly. Have a wonderful time. After I hung up, I sat in silence for a moment. Then I started laughing. Serenity Island. They'd booked Serenity Island. The private island I'd purchased 2 years ago for $12 million. I'd bought Serenity Island as an investment property, 15 acres of pristine Caribbean paradise with 6 luxury villas, a main house and infrastructure that was surprisingly sound despite the previous owner's neglect. I'd spent another $3 million renovating it, turning it into an ultra-exclusive resort that catered to celebrities, executives, and anyone willing to pay $50,000 a week for absolute privacy. My family had no idea I owned it. They had no idea I owned anything. To them, I was still the daughter who'd failed at law school and spent her days doing something vague with computers. They didn't know that I'd left law school to build a property technology company that I'd sold for $47 million 3 years ago. They didn't know I'd used that money to build a luxury real estate portfolio worth over $80 million. They didn't know because they'd never asked. I called my island manager, James, the next morning. I need to check something, I said. Do we have a booking for next month under the name Matthews or Williams? I heard typing. Yes, we do. Chelsea and Marcus Williams, along with the Matthews family party. 15 guests total, 3 days, all 6 villas. They booked through a luxury travel agency. What's the total cost? $150,000 for the 3 days, including the charter flights, private chef, activities, everything. I smiled. Perfect. Don't change anything. Process the booking normally. Ms. Matthews, is everything all right? James had been with me since I'd bought the island. He knew my family situation. Everything is perfect, I said. I'll be arriving 2 days before them. I want to be there when they check in. This should be interesting, James said. I could hear the smile in his voice. The month passed quickly. I watched the family group chat, the one I'd been removed from 6 months ago, through screenshots my cousin Lisa sent me. Lisa was the only family member who still talked to me regularly, and she was furious about my exclusion from the trip. This is ridiculous, she texted. You're being excluded from your own parents' anniversary? It's fine, I replied. Trust me. How is it fine? You'll see, I said. Are you going on the trip? Yeah, Mom guilt-tripped me into it. I tried to say no, but you know how it is. Film everything, I said. I want to see their faces. Their faces when what? You'll see, I repeated. I arrived at Serenity Island on a Tuesday afternoon. The sun was brilliant, the water impossibly blue, the sand white as sugar. My island. My paradise. The place I'd poured my heart and money into creating. James met me at the dock. Everything is ready, Ms. Matthews. The villas are prepared, the chef has finalized the menus, and the staff is briefed on the special situation. Situation is a good word for it, I said. How did they handle the booking? Any issues? The credit card was declined twice, James said carefully. Eventually Mr. Williams put it on a different card. The travel agency mentioned he seemed stressed about the cost. Interesting, I said. So Marcus is paying for this entire trip? According to the booking notes, yes. I believe he wanted to impress his in-laws. I nodded slowly. Marcus had always been about appearances. The right job, the right house, the right image. Paying for an exclusive island vacation would definitely fit his need to look successful. What he didn't know was that he'd maxed out his credit cards to rent my island. My family's charter flight arrived Thursday at 2 p.m. I watched from the main house as the boat brought them from the airstrip on the neighboring island. 15 people piled out, laughing and excited, pulling designer luggage and already taking selfies. Mom and Dad were first off the boat, both looking younger than their 60 years in expensive resort wear. Chelsea followed, perfectly coiffed even after hours of travel, her husband Marcus beside her looking slightly seasick but trying to hide it. My Aunt Karen, Uncle Tom, Cousin Lisa and several family friends I recognized filled out the rest of the party. James greeted them at the dock, immaculate in his white linen suit. Welcome to Serenity Island. I'm James, your personal concierge for the next 3 days. We hope you'll find everything beyond your expectations. This is incredible, Chelsea gushed, already recording video on her phone. Marcus, you outdid yourself. Marcus smiled, but I noticed him swallow hard. The man who'd spent $150,000 he probably didn't have. Before we show you to your villas, James continued, the island owner would like to personally welcome you. She's visiting this week and always likes to greet special guests. The owner is here? Mom looked thrilled. How wonderful. Marcus, did you arrange this? Marcus looked confused. No, I didn't know the owner would be here. She doesn't usually meet guests, James said smoothly. But this is a special occasion. Please follow me to the main house. I watched from the window as James led them up the path. They were all talking at once, admiring the landscaping, the architecture, the views. None of them had any idea what was about to happen. James led them to the main terrace where I was waiting. I dressed carefully, white linen pants, a simple silk top, my hair pulled back. Elegant but not showy. I wanted them to focus on who I was, not what I was wearing. Ladies and gentlemen, James announced, may I present the owner of Serenity Island, Ms. Victoria Matthews. I turned from the ocean view and smiled at my family. The recognition happened in stages. Lisa saw me first. Her eyes went wide and she started to smile. Then Mom, whose expression shifted from confusion to shock to something like horror. Dad just froze. Chelsea's phone dropped from her hand, clattering on the terrace tiles. Hello everyone, I said warmly. Welcome to my island. I hope you'll enjoy your stay. The silence was absolute. Even the tropical birds seemed to have stopped singing. Marcus found his voice first. Your island? You own this. I purchased it 2 years ago, I confirmed. 15 acres, 6 villas, completely private. I saw the booking come through last month and thought it would be nice to be here to personally welcome you for Mom and Dad's anniversary. Mom's face had gone from pale to bright red. You own this island. This entire island. Every grain of sand, I said pleasantly. James manages the day-to-day operations, but yes, it's mine. Chelsea was staring at me like I'd grown a second head. But you don't have this kind of money. You dropped out of law school. You work with computers or something. I built a property technology company, I corrected. Sold it 3 years ago for $47 million. Used the proceeds to invest in luxury real estate. Serenity Island was one of my first acquisitions. Dad sat down heavily in one of the terrace chairs. $47 million. That was the sale price, I said. My current net worth is around $83 million, depending on market fluctuations. The island alone has appreciated significantly since I bought it. Aunt Karen started laughing, slightly hysterical. We've been feeling sorry for you. For years. We thought you were struggling. I know, I said. I heard all the whispered conversations. The poor Victoria comments. The concern about my lack of direction. Why didn't you tell us? Mom's voice was barely a whisper. I tried to, I said quietly. 3 years ago when I sold my company I called to share the news. Dad, you said, "That's nice," and hung up because you were watching a game. Chelsea, you told me that corporate sales weren't real success and maybe I should consider going back to school. Chelsea's face flushed. I don't remember saying that. I do, I said. I remember very clearly. Just like I remember last Christmas when you introduced me to your colleagues as your sister, who never quite figured out what to do with her life. Victoria, that's not, I didn't mean. You did mean it, I interrupted gently. You all did. You decided I was a failure and nothing I said would change your minds. So I stopped trying to convince you otherwise. Marcus was scrolling frantically on his phone. Oh my God. Victoria Matthews. You're the Victoria Matthews who developed Resort Sync. That's my company, I confirmed. Well, it was. I sold it to Marriott 3 years ago. Resort Sync revolutionized luxury property management, Marcus said faintly. Every major hotel chain uses some version of your system. You're famous in the hospitality industry. I wouldn't say famous, I said. But the software did well. Lisa was grinning now, clearly enjoying the moment. This is amazing. So when Marcus booked this trip to impress everyone, he was actually paying you. Technically, he was paying my company, I said. But yes, essentially. Marcus looked like he might be sick. $150,000. I paid you $150,000. You paid for 3 days at an exclusive private island resort, I corrected. The price is the same for everyone. I didn't give you a family discount because you didn't tell me you were booking it. How could I tell you? Marcus protested. We didn't invite you. Exactly, I said softly. The silence returned, heavier this time. Everyone was processing, calculating, realizing the full scope of what had just happened. Dad stood up slowly. You didn't come to the anniversary celebration because we didn't invite you. And now we're celebrating on your island, having paid you a fortune to be here. That's an accurate summary, I said. That's. Dad stopped, searching for words. That's the most awkward thing I've ever experienced. Really? I asked. More awkward than telling your daughter she's not welcome at your anniversary because she might make her sister uncomfortable? Dad had the grace to look ashamed. Victoria, I'm sorry. We were wrong. You were, I agreed. But you're here now and I've ensured everything will be perfect for your celebration. The chef is preparing something special for tomorrow night's anniversary dinner. The villas are stocked with your favorite wines. Your activities are all arranged. Why? Mom asked. Why are you being nice to us after we excluded you? Because despite everything, you're my parents, I said simply. You're celebrating 30 years of marriage and that's worth honoring. Even if I wasn't invited to honor it with you. Chelsea had recovered enough to speak. So you're just going to let us stay? After everything? Of course, I said. You booked the island, you paid for it. You're guests here and I take hospitality seriously. James and his team will make sure you have an unforgettable experience. But you'll be here too? Chelsea asked. Won't that be weird? I'll stay in my private residence on the other side of the island, I said. You'll barely see me. Unless you want to have dinner one evening. I'd be happy to host you all. We'd like that, Dad said quickly. Tomorrow night maybe? After the anniversary dinner. Tomorrow night is perfect, I said. The next 36 hours were surreal. I watched from a distance as my family explored the island, used the amenities I'd built, ate food prepared in my kitchens. James sent me updates. They were having a wonderful time, though the conversation kept returning to me. Lisa came to find me that evening. This is the best revenge ever, she said, laughing. Marcus is having a breakdown. He keeps calculating how much of his credit limit he used to rent his sister-in-law's island. It's not revenge, I said. It's just ironic. It's hilarious, Lisa corrected. And well-deserved. They've been terrible to you. The anniversary dinner was beautiful. James sent me photos. The table set up on the beach, candles everywhere, the sunset perfect. My parents looked happy, genuinely happy. I'd given them that even though they hadn't wanted me there. The family dinner the following evening was awkward at first. Everyone gathered at my private residence, which was larger and more luxurious than the guest villas. They couldn't stop staring at the artwork, the furnishings, the view. I have a confession, I said once everyone was seated with drinks. I didn't cancel your trip or try to ruin your celebration, even though I could have. You could have. Marcus looked ill. When I saw the booking, I knew exactly who it was for. I could have cancelled it, claimed the island needed maintenance, forced you to find somewhere else. But I didn't. Why not? Chelsea asked quietly. Because Mom and Dad deserve a beautiful anniversary celebration. Because despite how I've been treated, I still love this family. And because I wanted to see if any of you would realize the truth on your own. The truth? Mom asked. That success doesn't look the same for everyone, I said. That dropping out of law school to build a tech company wasn't failure. It was me finding my own path. That my quiet life isn't because I'm lost. It's because I'm content with what I've built. Dad cleared his throat. We owe you more than an apology. We owe you years of respect and attention that we never gave you. Yes, I said simply. You do. Can we start over? Mom asked. Tears were streaming down her face. Can we try to really know you this time? I thought about it. About all the years of dismissal and judgment. About being excluded from this very celebration. About the assumption that I was less than, simply because my path looked different. But I also thought about the look on their faces when they realized what I'd built. The shock and pride mixing together. We can try, I said finally. But it has to be different this time. No more assumptions. No more comparing me to Chelsea. No more treating me like the family embarrassment. Done, Dad said immediately. I want to know everything. About your company, about how you bought this island, about your life. Me too, Chelsea said quietly. And Victoria? I'm sorry. I've been terrible to you. Competitive and dismissive and cruel. You're more successful than I'll ever be, and I was too insecure to see it. Thank you, I said. That means a lot. The dinner continued and slowly the awkwardness faded. They asked questions, real questions, about my life, my work, my plans. They listened to my answers. For the first time in years, my family actually saw me. When they left the next day, Mom hugged me tightly at the dock. Thank you for this. All of it. The island, the celebration, the chance to start over. You're welcome, I said. Marcus approached last, looking embarrassed. Victoria, about the cost. You got exactly what you paid for, I interrupted. A perfect 3 days at an exclusive resort. No family discount, no special treatment. Just good business. He nodded, understanding. For what it's worth, this island is incredible. You've built something amazing here. I know, I said with a smile. As I watched the boat carry them away, James appeared beside me. That went well, all things considered. Better than I expected, I agreed. Will they treat you differently now? He asked. Maybe, I said. Maybe not. But at least now they know the truth. They know who I really am. I turned and walked back toward my villa, my island, my paradise. The place I'd built with my own money, my own vision, my own determination. They hadn't invited me to their anniversary celebration. But they'd celebrated it on my island anyway. And somehow that felt like exactly the right ending.